how to realize your date is toxic in early dating stages and why you should leave them immediately. Psychological explanation about how to prevent a toxic relationship early in the dating process. Navigating the early stages of a relationship can be thrilling, but it also requires emotional awareness and intuition. In the rush of getting to know someone, it's easy to overlook red flags or to dismiss behaviors that, while subtle, might point to underlying toxicity. The key to avoiding harmful dynamics is recognizing these signs early and understanding the psychological reasoning behind why leaving a toxic partner immediately is critical to your well-being. 1. Extreme jealousy or possessiveness. Red flag. A date who exhibits jealousy or possessiveness early in the relationship, especially over minor things like who you talk to at a party or how much time you spend with friends, may indicate controlling tendencies. They might demand to know your whereabouts constantly or accuse you of flirting with others without cause. Psychological explanation. This kind of jealousy stems from insecurity or a need to control, both of which are often rooted in deeper psychological issues, such as fear of abandonment or low self-esteem. Over time, jealousy can escalate into controlling behavior, where the partner seeks to isolate you from others or dictate your actions. This is often a manipulation tactic to assert dominance and avoid perceived threats to their power in the relationship. Why you should leave? Relationships that involve jealousy and possessiveness are not healthy, as they set the stage for emotional abuse. They limit your freedom and autonomy, making you feel trapped. Healthy relationships should be based on trust and respect for each other's independence, and staying in a toxic dynamic can prevent you from cultivating these qualities. When love goes wrong, nothing goes right. When love goes wrong, Alice is the key of your relationship. And before going deeper into today's subject, I want to tell you that I am Alice, dating and relationship coach, and that the YouTube reports showed me that over 65% of the viewers of this channel are not yet my subscribers. This news made me very sad. So please, do me a favor and push right now the subscribe button if you watched in the past my YouTube videos and my suggestions helped you. Then please, subscribe, like, and share my videos to people who might benefit from my message. Doing like this, you can make this channel grow. So, I'm counting on your help, and thank you for pushing right now the subscribe button. Stay till the end of this video, because at the end of this video, I'll give you practical advices, an extremely important bonus about how to realize if your date is toxic in early dating stages and why you should leave them immediately. Now, let's go on and talk about how to prevent a toxic relationship early in the dating process. 2. Inconsistent or contradictory behavior. It's a huge red flag. A person whose actions don't align with their words can be a significant red flag. For instance, they may profess deep affection early on, but then disappear or act cold when you need them. This can leave you confused, questioning what is real? Psychological explanation. People with toxic tendencies often exhibit what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement. They provide you with occasional kindness or affection, which can trigger your brain's reward system. This causes you to chase after their validation, leading to a cycle of emotional manipulation. The inconsistency makes you doubt yourself, and you become more dependent on their approval. The longer you stay, the more you're hooked into this emotionally unhealthy relationship. Why you should leave. Staying in a relationship with inconsistent behavior leads to emotional instability and insecurity. It erodes your sense of self-worth and creates dependency. It's much healthier to recognize this pattern early on and walk away before it becomes more ingrained. 3. The lack of facts and the presence of only empty words is a huge red flag. Here's why it's troubling when your date only uses empty words and avoids sharing concrete actions. A. Lack of substance makes connection difficult. Meaningful relationships are built on shared experiences, values, and understanding. If someone speaks in vague or generic terms, it's hard to get a sense of who they really are, what they believe, what they've done, or what they care about. B. It signals avoidance or insecurity. People who rely on empty words may be avoiding vulnerability, hiding something, or unsure of themselves. It could also suggest they're not comfortable being genuine or honest, which it is a red flag. C. It prevents trust from developing. Trust is formed when people share verifiable or specific truth, things you can hold on to and believe. If everything they say is vague, you might start wondering if they're being dishonest, evasive, or even manipulative. D. It may indicate lack of interest. I'm sorry that I'm telling you the truth, but sometimes people speak in platitudes or keep things surface level because they're not interested in the conversation or they're not interested in you. That's not necessarily malicious, but it's still a signal they may not be emotionally available. E. It's emotionally unsatisfying. We want to feel seen and heard, and we want to understand the other person too. So, when someone offers only empty words, you're left emotionally hungry, like talking to a fog. If you're feeling this way, trust your instincts. You're not asking for too much. You're simply asking for realness, which is essential in any honest relationship.
Alice is the key of your relationship. She's the one who makes your heart just skip. In her eyes you see your world unfold. With her touch your story's always told.
4. Gaslighting and manipulation. Red flag. Gaslighting occurs when someone manipulates you into doubting your own reality or feelings. The movie Gaslight is the basis for this term gaslighting, and I recommend you to watch it. For example, they might say, "You're overreacting," or "That didn't happen the way you remember." This often makes you feel confused or even question your sanity. Psychological explanation. Gaslighting is a form of psychological abuse that causes you to question your perception of reality, making you second-guess yourself. It's used to control or diminish your confidence. The manipulator seeks power by undermining your ability to trust your own thoughts and emotions, effectively making you more dependent on them for guidance. Why you should leave? Gaslighting is corrosive to mental health, leading to anxiety, depression, and a profound loss of self-esteem. The longer you stay in this type of relationship, the more you lose touch with your sense of self. Leaving immediately allows you to prevent your emotional health and regain your sense of reality. 5. Lack of accountability and blaming others. Red flag. A date who refuses to take responsibility for their actions or mistakes and consistently shifts the blame to others, such as their exes, their family, or even you, is demonstrating toxic behavior. They may say things like, "I only acted that way because of how my ex treated me," or "if you hadn't done this, I wouldn't have reacted this way." It seems like it is never their fault. It's always somebody else's fault. Really? Are we 5 years children? Psychological explanation. This behavior is rooted in external focus of control, where the individual believes that external factors rather than their own actions are responsible for their behavior. They lack emotional maturity and self-awareness, often deflecting responsibility as a defense mechanism to protect their ego, their huge pride. This can lead to a cycle where they never learn from their mistakes and the relationship feels like it's always your fault. Would you like to be in a relationship where it's never their fault but it's always your fault? Why you should leave? A partner who consistently refuses to own their mistakes will likely never change. Over time, this will erode your emotional well-being as you begin to feel perpetually blamed or misunderstood. Leaving is essential to maintain your self-respect and prevent further emotional harm. 6. Overwhelming need for control or dominance. Red flag. A toxic partner may try to control aspects of your life, from your choices in clothing and hairstyle to your career decisions or whom you spend time with. They may push you to make decisions that are more about satisfying their needs rather than your needs. Psychological explanation. Control is often a defense mechanism used by people who feel insecure, anxious, or out of control in other aspects of their lives. They might seek dominance in relationships as a way to feel more powerful or secure. The need to dominate a partner psychologically can also be an indication of narcissistic or borderline personality traits, which are associated with deep-seated issues of low self-esteem and a lack of emotional intelligence. Why you should leave? The need for control is a red flag for abusive behavior that can escalate over time. Take care, because staying in such a relationship can undermine your personal autonomy, making you feel powerless. Leaving early on helps you avoid falling into a cycle of subjugation that can get worse and worse with time. 7. Love bombing and rapid intensity. Red flag. Love bombing involves overwhelming a partner with excessive affection, compliments, or gifts, often at the start of a relationship. This intense adoration might feel flattering at first, but it quickly turns into pressure for commitment and may even turn manipulative. Psychological explanation. Love bombing is often used by individuals with narcissistic tendencies. It's designed to create emotional dependency and quickly lock the partner into the relationship. Once the person feels emotionally invested, the manipulator may begin to withdraw affection or become controlling. It's a tactic to get someone hooked and emotionally reliant. Why you should leave? While the initial feeling of being adored can be intoxicating, it is often a tactic to gain control over you emotionally. If you're swept up too quickly, the emotional intensity can cloud your judgment. Leaving early on helps you avoid getting trapped in a manipulative cycle where you feel obligated to stay due to emotional debt. 8. Lack of empathy or emotional availability. Red flag. If your date seems indifferent to your feelings or doesn't show genuine interest in your life or emotions, this is an indication of emotional unavailability. They may dismiss your concerns or appear uninterested when you share something important with them. Psychological explanation. People who are emotionally unavailable often struggle with deep emotional connection due to past trauma or attachment issues. They may have learned to avoid vulnerability, to protect themselves from hurt, leading them to be dismissive, neglectful of others' emotions, or even indifferent to others' pain. Why you should live? A relationship should provide emotional support and mutual care. If a partner is emotionally unavailable or incapable of empathizing with you, it leads to feelings of isolation and frustration. Staying in such a relationship is emotionally draining and can prevent you from experiencing genuine connection and intimacy. Run away from persons that manipulate you, that force you somehow to do what you do not want to do. Run away from dates that force you to have sex or to take drugs or to drink alcohol if this is something that you do not want to do. 9. A person that asks for 50-50 in a relationship is not willing, not ready to offer 100% of what he or she is. A stingy person in financial life is stingy with his, her feelings, with everything, his time, his emotions, his words, everything. So run away from stingy persons. Women, run away from men that ask you to pay 50-50 for a dinner where they invited you to. 10. Silent treatment is another huge red flag. If you had a different opinion than your partner, if you two had a small fight and instead of speaking like two adults, your partner chooses not to speak to you at all, nothing, no word, nada. So if your partner's form of punishment is silent treatment, then you should walk away from that person, from that relationship. The silent treatment occurs at persons that are emotionally unregulated to the degree that they don't want to speak to you and deal with their own pain. So they are just gonna stonewall you and not have a rational, open conversation. If a person cannot regulate their emotions, at least after a few minutes after the fight, and have a human, decent, open conversation, then that person should be single. That person should go and build some resilience and become emotionally mature before they dump their own trauma on somebody else. 11. Do not date sarcastic people. Inside their mind, their soul, they are a bitter person, full of frustration, full of resentments because they were rejected since they were small children. So they develop this sarcastic way of protecting themselves. Do not date people that find your flaws at any word or action that you do or say just to make them feel superior. They might be covert narcissists. 12. If you are a very beautiful person physically, spiritually, do not date ugly person, because they will try to dim your light just to make them feel good about themselves. They will try to shrink you so they can feel superior to you. They might be very jealous because they are not as beautiful as you are, and they will try to control you. I cannot generalize, but I've had in therapy so many beautiful women clients on the outside and on the inside too that dated ugly persons. Some ugly persons physically are ugly also internally because almost all their life they were rejected, mocked, so they become frustrated, vindictive, sarcastic, toxic, jealous on beautiful persons. As I promised you in the beginning, here are some practical tests to see your partner's reaction. Put a pen into your hand and ask them to take the pen from your hand. The way they take it shows parts of their personality. If they take the pen almost without touching your hand, this means that they don't like you very much and they don't want to interact so much with you emotionally, physically. If they take the pen caressing your hand or looking kindly into your eyes, this means that they like you and they are open to have an emotional, mental and physical relationship. You can try to test them with a pen or a table napkin or a chewing gum. Another test. Spill the warm coffee or tea, but not hot, okay? Just warm coffee. So, spill the warm coffee on your date and see their reaction. If they start yelling at you, calling you names, acting like they have a tantrum, then run away and don't ever get into a relationship with that person that cannot control themselves. Do not ever have a love relationship with a person who behaves like a 5-year-old child. We are grown-up adults and we should be able to control ourselves no matter how difficult the situation is, because there will be many difficulties during a long relationship or marriage. Ask them to help you to do something difficult and see their reaction. This is another test. Set the expectations from the very beginning. How do you handle a relationship that feels toxic but still have not gotten closure? Do you really want closure from a toxic person? Do you want to know what is the closure? The disrespect is the closure. The moment your date disrespects you, this is the closure. Tell them, I do not accept that you disrespect me. I have the right to be respected, and walk away, because the disrespect is the closure. The inability to allow you to express your own feelings without being attacked or dismissed, or without them saying, oh, you're too sensitive. This is the final closure, and you should leave them. The gaslighting is the rewriting of the history is your closure. The refusal to come to the table and discuss problems like two adults, to discuss things that bother you, that bothers your partner, the 1,000 previous times when they refused to discuss problems. This is your closure that you are waiting for. The refusal to take any accountability is your closure, and you have to walk away. The redirection of every affront and every assault and putting the blame back on you is the real closure. What other closure is it precisely that you are looking for? Are you looking for that fantasy where finally your partner comes to you, where they soften, they open their heart, and they show some compassion, some empathy, some sensitivity for once? But if that were possible, if that could have happened, why it didn't happen till now? If you didn't get this empathy, these excuses till now, you're not gonna get it at your exit interview. All of the evidence, the preponderance of repeated evidence is the closure that you need. Final thoughts. Why leaving toxic people early is crucial. Psychologically, staying in a toxic relationship has severe long-term consequences on your mental and emotional health. Toxic dynamics erode your self-esteem, create anxiety, foster dependency, and create unhealthy attachments. Leaving early protects your emotional integrity and prevents the development of patterns that can make it harder to break free later on. The key to emotional resilience is trusting your instincts. If something feels off in the early stages, it's crucial to trust that gut feeling. Recognizing toxicity early and walking away is not only empowering, it's essential to your mental and emotional well-being. Prioritize yourself and your health over the allure of quick validation or fleeting affection, and you'll avoid the long-term damage that toxic relationships bring. Walk away from people who put you down. Walk away from fights that will never be solved. Walk away from trying to please people who will never see your worth. The more you walk away from things that poison your soul, your mind, your energy, the healthier you will be. Men, and now I'm talking especially with men and for men and to men. Men, please protect your woman from yourself first of all. How? When you have a contradiction, a fight, protect your woman from your anger, from your bad words, from swearing, from your bad actions like slamming the doors, banging objects, like silent treatment. Protect your woman from yourself and show how strong you are by controlling your harsh words, by controlling your bad actions. For God's sake, we are grown-ups and not animals. So we should be able to control our rage, men and women. Do you agree? So, dating should be fun, isn't it? As a psychologist, I've seen that what happens when you treat dating like a hobby instead of the most important decision that you'll ever make. The wrong partner won't just break your heart, they'll destroy your present and your future. They'll drain your finances, chip away your confidence, and leave you rebuilding from the ground up. So no, I don't think dating should be approached casually. I think dating should be done with the kind of discernment you would use to choose a business partner, a co-founder, or someone you're signing a 40-year mortgage with, because that is what dating and marriage is. It's not only about chemistry, but it is also about compatibility, strategy, and long-term alignment. Instead of trying to earn love, you should observe and pay attention at these signs. Does he or she respect you and your time? Does he or she listen? Does he or she make space for you and for your goals? Dating without boundaries is not brave, but it is blind. When you are dating, please pay attention to your partner's behavior, to his values, to his response when you say no. A healthy relationship should be an asset and not a liability. And if this sounds too strategic for some people, let them call you cold. I call it clarity. Clarity. I recommend you to start defining what you want before you choose to have a relationship with a person. Write down the habits that you will not compromise on, no matter how hot your partner is. You are not just choosing a partner, a spouse. You are choosing your present and your future, and the future of your unborn children. So, choose wisely or do not choose at all. When dating, if you see red flags, try to speak about those red flags with the person that you are dating with before ending the relationship. Give it a chance. Try to say what's on your soul. Try to ask them to promise that they will improve, that they will change their bad behavior. But if they do not change, if they do the same mistake 2 times, even if they promise they will change, then leave that person. If you want healthy, long-lasting relationship, write me and we'll have therapy sessions that will help you have fulfilled relationships. If you want a healthy, long-lasting relationship, you should look for emotional maturity on the person that you are dating with. You should look for more than just basic communication. You should look for a person that takes accountability for their facts. You should look for respect, loyalty, and that your date shows up like a real partner, not a project. You don't have to raise your partner to fix a grown person. Connection isn't building through control or complaining, but it's built through healing. Heal yourself and choose a healed partner to have a healthy relationship. When dating, when starting a relationship, when having a healthy relationship, remember these very important things. Love needs action. Sorry needs change. Trust needs proof. So, what do you think? What aspects do you look at in a person before deciding if they are right for you or toxic? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's talk about it. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like it, subscribe for more content, and hit the notification bell so you'll never miss an update. If you are interested in cultivating a stronger and healthier relationship, follow my videos called How to Find Your Compatible Lover Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. Follow my future videos because I'll speak about other amazing subjects regarding love relationships. My personal advice: be unique, be special, be different, so that you make the person that you are dating with, that you are married with, insatiable for you. My love for you, insatiable. If you subscribe to my channel, you will motivate me to create videos with even better content. So please subscribe right now to my YouTube channel, Alice, the key of your relationship. Like and share this video to people who might need it. You can also follow me on Facebook, and my Instagram is Alice, key of your relationship, without any space between words. For therapy sessions, write me on my Instagram or on my Facebook. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see you in my next videos. Kisses! Bye bye!
Alice is the key of your relationship. She's the one who makes your heart just skip. In her eyes you see your world unfold. With her touch your story's always told.